line with this NKEA that we have right now?
So we are in the process of developing a hospital, Perdana University Hospital, that will also be in affiliation with Johns Hopkins. That is meant to be a kind of a model of a slightly different model than what's most prevalent in Malaysia. That is a private teaching hospital where students will be working with physicians, where we will be training specialists to address the healthcare problems of Malaysia, where research and clinical care are integrated very, very seamlessly. So I think that's what we're trying to do. We're not going to, PugSOMs, we're small classes. We're not going to generate hundreds and hundreds of doctors. We're focusing on quality. We're focusing on producing the people who will lead in those 3 missions in the future and influence other people in an exponential fashion.
Okay, we'll stop for a short break, and when we come back we'll discuss more on medical education and right here on BizTalk.
Ekonomi dunia, berita terkini, isu semasa, segalanya baru dan benar hanya di Berita Dunia.
Girang gemilang atau penuh kecundang, paparan kegairahan, laporan sukan tanpa sempadan, wadah bertenaga dan terkini, Sukan at Bernama TV.
Right, thanks for staying with us on BizTalk. If you have any comments, you can email us at biztalk@bernama-tv.com, or you can tweet us at biztalk502, or you can call us at 0326937008. Right, we have another package, and this time is on the public's view on the current medical issues that they are having. So let's take a look.
Health is the most important factor for a happy life. In this modern era, people demand for better healthcare facilities and services. Now, let's hear the public's opinion on this issue.
Government hospital, actually they have all the facilities and they don't simply waste money. They do things appropriate according to the situation. Which has to be done, that's how they will do it. They don't simply make money.
Normally, before I used to go to University Hospital, but my friend recommended me to go to DH because of the price.
I think we have very good facilities compared to many other countries.
I should encourage more doctors.
The population is getting bigger and bigger, so I think we got to multiply the doctors.
Private one, but some clinic okay. Not that I'm saying very good. Some clinic okay, but some clinic just pay money and just give medicine, that's all.
From the public's opinion, we find out that the government hospitals remain a preferred choice for them. I'm Kalewani Munsami for BizTalk.
Right, thanks Kalai for that public's opinion. So most of them said that we need more doctors, but we've discussed on that. And there's another issue which is about the payment, the clinic payment on the public and private sectors. Do you have any comments on that?
Yeah, so
And on the facilities as well.
I think that, again, I think that it seems to me from my reading and my experience that Malaysia is kind of in a transition place between the purely private clinics and the outstanding care in the public hospitals, which are often very, very crowded. And I think some kind of middle ground is probably the optimal place where patients can have full access to quality, comprehensive care that's appropriate. That is not purely necessarily a fee-for-service model. I think that's where much of the world is going.
Okay, but do you agree that healthcare personnel, although referred to as professionals, lack of quality and professionalism both in public and private sector?
So this is a big movement in medical education, the whole issue of professionalism. Because I think in many places physicians have lost the public trust.
True.
And the healthcare profession should be an avocation. It should be a calling. It should not be a business proposition. I think many students, if you look at the attrition rates in many of the undergraduate medical schools, they're on the order of 10–20%, which is, to me, is way too high. I think part of that is because students are going into medicine at times for the wrong reasons.
Right.
I think that's another advantages of PUGSOM's graduate entry model, where you take more mature students who've had a chance to think about what they want to do, often separate from their parents' wishes a little bit by time and maturity.
True.
And go into medicine for the right reason.
Right.
There are very few physicians in the world that are starving, that can't provide for their families.
Right.
But at the same time, to me, it should not be a profession where the main reason it should be about improving health.
Yeah.
That's what it should be about.
But the thing is, in Malaysia, the mindset is like that, you know, especially parents, old parents, they said, you know, I want you to become a doctor because I want you to earn this much, this much. So how could we actually change that bit by bit?
We're trying bit by bit at Perdana. I'm trying to train a next generation. Look at what's happening in Australia. In Australia, the strong trend is for like a graduate entry model. But I think it's up to physicians everywhere, no matter the model, to earn back the public trust by maintaining their primary job is to preserve health. And there's great physicians in Malaysia and much of this part of the world. And I think that it should be taught in medical schools that the public trust is one of the core values of a physician.
But the public trust, as for now, most of them are complaining. They're like I said, lack of professionalism and lack of quality, and even supporting medical staff on occasion said that they're not up to par, up to that standard. So what could we do to actually, especially the ones that are already in the healthcare so-called industry, so how could we educate these kind of people?
So I think that, well, it's hard to teach old dogs new tricks. I think, but medical school curricula that emphasize communication skills, emphasize professionalism, emphasize multidisciplinary care. A large part of our curriculum is teaching doctors how to communicate with nurses and other healthcare professionals.
Right.
And I think many schools are going to those kinds of curricular things. And I think that as that happens from the ground up, I think it's going to have to happen from the bottom up.
True.
But I think as
it will take some time.
It will take time.
Okay.
But I think that there's by introducing multidisciplinary care in hospitals, physicians have to realize that the best care is by enhancing communication skills.
Right. Okay, let's go back to the high medical costs. Okay, building a health science education discipline cluster is laudable, but there's a debate on high medical costs. So where do we draw the line between providing medical care and profitability?
So I think we should start with enhancing health.
Okay.
I think that enhancing health should be cost effective. I think that, again, there's I know the U.S. best, there's a tremendous maldistribution of costs, where in the United States, which spends a lot more money on health than Malaysia, and inappropriately spends a lot of money. Much of the costs are at the end of life. A disproportionate amount of money is spent at the end of life, whereas a disproportionate undersupply is spent in primary care and preventive medicine. So I think that The emphasis of healthcare should be on enhancing health.
Right. Can you elaborate on enhancing health?
Enhancing health is by looking at public health measures,
right,
preventive medicine, continuity medicine, personalized medicine, not testing unnecessarily, and not prolonging life unnecessarily also, not providing care for the wrong reasons.
Okay.
I think that can be fiscally responsible care without gouging people or without focusing only on the profit motive.
Right. Okay, let's take a break right now, and when we come back we'll talk more on medical education right after this on BizTalk.
Catch Bernama Today every weekday from 9 a.m. onwards for the latest news, lifestyle stories, interesting personalities, only on Bernama TV.
Assalamualaikum, Cu.
Waalaikumsalam. Ada apa nenek tua?
Nenek nak tanya sikit ni.
Tanya apa, Nek?
Cu ada nampak Mila tak?
Toh?
Mila. Apa dia cakap kat nenek?
Ini Nenek Mila punya. Apa khabar, Nek?
Pura-pura baik konon. Dah lah Mila, ni kita balik.
Itulah kau tak ada harap dengan orang tua lagi.
Aduh, aku mana tahu. Melepas.
Menongkah batasan masa. Mengupas isu semasa. Jadi saluran pelbagai suara. Segalanya baru dan benar di Berita Bernama TV.
Right, thanks for staying with us on BizTalk. If you have any comments, you can email us at biztalk@bernama-tv.com, or you can tweet us at biztalk502, or you can call us right now at 0326-937-008. Right, we have a couple of Twitter questions for you, and let's take a look at the first question. Qualify for
So Ms. Lee is commenting on the scholarship program.
Right.
So all of our Malaysian students are on a full scholarship from the government currently. The way to qualify is you have to get admitted to PUGSOM first, and then you subsequently apply to the JPA for a scholarship.
Right.
So the entry criteria we already mentioned, the grade point, having a first degree, doing well on your first degree, then going through the interview and the application process of PUGSOM, and then the accepted students we propose to the JPA for their own application. They fill out for the JPA scholarship, they interview, and so far our students have been tremendously successful, and all of our current students, all of our current Malaysian students are on JPA scholarships.
Right. How about, okay, besides science, what kind of background do you need besides science, if they have besides science?
So we want people who have done things to show us that they are interested in improving health.
Okay.
We look for people who've done research, who volunteered in the community, who have active interests. We're looking for diverse people. We're not looking for people who have been programmed to go to medical school their whole life and have done nothing else.
It has to have interest.
We want multi-dimensional people.
Right. Let's take a look at the second Twitter question right now. This is from Warren91. Will there be any branch campuses from Perdana University, especially in East Malaysia?
So Warren's trying to keep me awake more than I'm already awake. We're working hard to build the Perdana campus. We're building a hospital. We're building an educational facility, a research facility. We've got a lot of work to do. We are very interested in East Malaysia. I was actually, I visited KK not that long ago, and a number of our students are from East Malaysia, and we're hoping they go back. At this point, I have no plans for a branch campus, but everything's possible.
In East Malaysia or West Malaysia? Do you have any other plans?
Right now, we're focusing on building our campus. We're planning on opening our hospital in the next 3 years, having our permanent educational campus, which will be even nicer than our interim campus, ready in that time frame also.
Right. Okay, let's go back to the medical cost. I just have another question. There are grouses that some doctors, especially in the private sector, dish out expensive treatment when they should have started out with basic, cheaper treatment in treating diseases such as cancer or heart ailment. So how can we prevent this, and how could the public know about, so that they know that they are not being treated unnecessarily?
So there is often a gray and a subtle distinction between necessary and unnecessary. It's not as stark as necessary. I mean, there are things that are clearly necessary and things that are clearly unnecessary, but 90% of decisions are somewhere in that boundary zone.
Right.
I think an educated public is the key to holding doctors responsible for their views. Questioning public.
Right.
I think doctors should be able to explain why they think what they're recommending is the right thing.
Right.
This gets back to physicians' communication skills.
Right.
I should be able to explain to you why the pros and the cons of my decision-making process, and be able to tell you, here's why I think what I recommend is the best.
Right.
And it should be independent about, I should not have a financial self-interest in your decision.
Right.
That gets back to the public trust.
Okay. We only have a couple of minutes more, so let's conclude this. So what is in store for Perdana University?
So what's in store? We're being very ambitious.
Okay.
We are planning a beautiful campus that I hopefully will be breaking ground very, very soon. And we're going to have an integrated campus that combines a hospital that right now is being planned for 600 beds.
Oh, okay.
Will be arguably the first private teaching hospital in Malaysia. It's going to be built with an emphasis on training and high quality care.
Right.
We're building integrated education and research facilities that everybody is going to be together and collaborating both on the research side, on the education side, and the clinical side.
Okay.
We're planning on having all that finished within the next 3 years or so.
Okay.
It's being designed by an international team. I just returned from Johns Hopkins, where an international team from KL in the United States was working on the plans for that campus.
All right. Okay, thank you so much, Professor, for being with us and giving us some inputs on today's topic. And thank you so much for tuning with us on BizTalk. And until we meet again real soon, I'm Surati Sanusi. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Thank you.